Okay, major breaking news. They have just discovered something insane beneath the pyramids, and it literally just happened this week. I want you guys to look at this, because by using new radar technology from outer space, scientists have found massive hidden structures beneath the pyramids of Giza. And when I say massive, I mean colossal. You won't believe this, but they detected structures extending 600 meters deep into the bedrock. That's nearly 2,000 feet straight down. And if that wasn't crazy enough, these structures connect to even deeper formations that go 2 kilometers underground, 1.24 miles below the surface. But I hear what you're thinking. Joe, could this be some kind of underground energy grid? Well, beneath the pyramid of Khafre, they found 8 massive pillars, which researchers confirm are not natural. These pillars are part of deliberate human construction, suggesting that these formations have an advanced purpose. And the fact that these structures extend so deep into the earth is raising even more questions. Now, what might be even more mind-blowing is that the latest radar scans have uncovered what appears to be an underground city beneath this pyramid. Now, let's just pause here for a minute, because obviously this is just speculation, and like most of my videos, I'm just talking about this stuff for entertainment purposes until I reach the conclusion of my video, because when I get to that part, I'm mega sincere, as you all know. Okay, so what is going on here? What is going on in this pyramid situation? Well, they decided to use a new radar technology, and researchers identified 5 interconnected structures near the pyramid's base. Again, these extended 648 meters deep into the ground, and this discovery reveals vertical shafts and even a possible spiral staircase with 2 large chambers. Are you imagining this right now? Because these structures suggest the presence of a sophisticated subterranean network, possibly even linked to an ancient water system used in the pyramid's construction. So, could these be part of a worldwide energy network? Or perhaps even a remnant of an advanced civilization's technology? Okay, well, let's just take a step back and think about the pyramid's age and its scale. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built 4,500 years ago, so just chew on that for a second. And just think how smart these guys must have been back then to build such an amazing thing. And if it was the Egyptians, like the common school of thought says it was, well, that is a testament of how great they were at engineering, at how smart these Egyptians were. However, a little later on we are going to look at some other suggestions of who else might have possibly built the pyramids. But did you know it's originally believed to have been 481 feet tall, but now it only stands at 455 feet tall due to the loss of the outer casing stones. However, this is probably the most impressive fact, but the Great Pyramid was constructed using 2.3 million stone blocks, with each block weighing somewhere between 2.5 and 15 tons. Some of the largest blocks found in the King's Chambers weigh up to 50 tons. I was so taken aback when I heard this, because the sheer weight and the sheer size of these blocks, coupled with the fact that the ancient Egyptians didn't have the modern tools and cranes and machinery like we have today, it just makes this really hard to believe that it was done just using manual labor and primitive tools. You see, the logistics behind moving such massive stones, it's a mystery, isn't it? A mystery even to this day. Now, listen to me. Here's something else that challenges our understanding of the pyramids. No mummies, listen to me, no mummies whatsoever have been found in the Great Pyramid or any of the major pyramids. Historically, these massive structures have been thought to be royal tombs, but the fact that no mummies have ever been found here suggests that the pyramids might not have even been tombs in the first place. In fact, some researchers now propose that the pyramids could have served another purpose entirely. Maybe they could have been energy generators, they say, or places of spiritual or scientific significance. So no, they weren't merely burial chambers.
What? What the fuck? Say man, hey man, what it do, YouTube? For today's video, we're watching a bunch of bangers. I got a compilation for y'all that you won't find nowhere else, you feel me? This is a rare bunch that I have compiled myself after doing my own research and looking into this Egyptian stuff. I don't know, this new pyramid news, bruh. Apparently there's some stuff under the pyramid. I don't know what it is, but hey, I've heard that there is apparently supposed to be a bunch of knowledge down there or something. I don't even know. Bunch of stuff under the pyramids. People just think it's a pyramid. It's not just a pyramid. It's not even a tomb. People think it's a tomb. What the video just said that we seen said is that it's not even really a tomb, you feel me? With the stuff they figured out, it's more like a Tesla coil or something. I don't even know how to explain it, but we gon' watch a bunch of videos and get a better understanding of this, you feel me? Cause I'm no professional, you know what I'm saying? I just got a bunch of stuff together for y'all, and I'm gonna give credit to everybody where credit is due. Everybody's videos and channels will be in the description, so you can see the originals all in the description, you feel me? And yeah, so without much further ado, we know what we're doing today, so grab your snacks, drinks, or whatever you want to do, and let's enjoy the ride.
Turning to a story that is making headlines.
Wait, I know this is a little off track, but are they just gonna try to blow by the fact that this just says Trump says bomb something about Iran? What in the world is going on? Are they trying to distract us with this pyramid stuff? Nah, I'm playing. Nah, but that's crazy. Let's keep watching the video.
Around the world, an unprecedented, albeit controversial, new discovery is shedding light on a mystery that dates back millennia, many millennia. Italian and Scottish researchers, mainly from the University of Pisa, conducted advanced high-frequency radar mapping under Egypt's famous pyramids. They claim to have discovered wells, caverns, and shafts that are more than 2,000 feet underground. If accurate, it changes the face of history as we know it. Here to talk more about it is Dr. Galit Ben-Tovel, an Egyptologist and author of the book, The Messiah Code. Hi, Galit.
Hi, Emily. Great to be here.
So this is very exciting. We've done a lot of stories in the past, about Egypt, but this is something that you couldn't really make up. But the fact is, this is an interesting scientific study, yet it is controversial. So explain what they discovered and why it's controversial.
Okay. So what they discovered, basically, they sent some pictures coming from the satellite from space, looking at the surface underground, the main pyramid of Giza, the pyramid of the king, the pharaoh Khufu. Now, we know back till now that this pyramid, was dated to 2600 BC. And what the archaeologists wanted to discover is we have something beneath the soil, beneath the ground of this pyramid. So with a technology that I cannot explain because I'm not specializing in this kind of technology, they managed to get some data from the infrastructure that is beneath the soil, beneath the ground. And what they discover is, if you want spiral hallways, I don't know how many of them, but that could lead maybe to an hypothesis, a thesis that maybe we have there an ancient technology.
Wow. Well, people have said this for years, that the Egyptians, knew something. I mean, we know that the pyramids are said to be aiming toward the Orion Belt. So, we know that they had things that that predated modern man. So with that, how do they explain it? Because they've made AI.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Why is this just kind of wholesome? You can just see the pure excitement on this news reporter's face, the joy on her. It's like she's a fan of this pyramid stuff or something. She finally gets to do something interesting in her job other than the weather or some shit. Bro, she's goddamn geeking right now, bro. Let's keep watching.
They've made renderings and you're seeing cylinders and it looks like a battery or a generator or some kind of, solar energy.
Like an ancient generator. But we have to say that they reconstructed from the data that they collected from the photographs that they had from the satellite from space. So the reconstruction with the 3D model with AI and all the newest technology that we have, it doesn't mean that this is exactly what they saw. It means that the AI, the intelligence, reconstructed, what they think they saw, beneath the soil. But I have to say that the pyramid and the mystery of the pyramid, why they were built, some scholars will say that they were meant to be for tombs, the tombs of the first pharaohs. But many years, I think for the last years, people are starting to doubt that, whether it was really the purpose of tomb, or maybe the tomb was maybe a secondary use, or maybe not at all. And why is that? Also because the pyramid themselves, not only because they were pointed to the stars, but they were covered, especially the top part of the pyramid was covered with gold.
Really?
So when we think about the solar energy of today, how we are using the solar energy, to heat and to do many things, it's a whole energy. So maybe the ancient Egyptian, used the same energy. Now, if we are willing to think that the ancient civilization were not so primitive, and maybe they knew things that we also are discovering them today, and maybe the history is not a linear history, but goes more in how we call it spiral right. History. So maybe this ancient civilization, whether it was the ancient Egyptian or even a prior civilization to the ancient Egyptian, used the solar energy or a different kind of energy that we are not aware of it today. We have to open this question.
Right. All right, we have 20 seconds. Say quickly, because the meaning of the word pyramid.
Okay, the meaning of the word pyramid in ancient Egyptian means the pillar.
Wow.
Now, if it's the pillar, when we see the shape of a pyramid, we don't see a pillar. We see a shape of a pyramid.
And
so where is the pillar? So if it was for technology, maybe It was a kind of, if you want, a pillar of light, a pillar of fire, and maybe this is the pillar of fire from the story of Exodus.
Wow. Okay, that'll be saved for another day to how it's going to explain the story of Exodus.
Yo, those were some real deal breaking news right there. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of knowledge. I ain't gonna lie. That was cool to learn. That was interesting. I ain't know all that. But yo, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't done. I want to learn more about this. So I got some more videos for y'all. You feel me? Let's see some more.
There's a lot of misinformation spreading around the internet right now regarding a possible discovery underneath the pyramids of Giza. Don't worry, I did the research so you don't have to, and I'm about to tell you the facts. Fact check. In 2022, Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga published an academic article. It explored a groundbreaking method for imaging the internal structures of the Great Pyramid using synthetic aperture radar, also called SAR. It revealed new, previously unknown structures inside of the pyramids. But this 2022 paper didn't actually reveal anything underneath the pyramids. That only came later, and this is causing a little bit of confusion. It is only on the first day of 2025 when these same researchers came forward and announced that they made a new discovery using the same techniques, and that they were going to announce it at a press release on March 16th in Italy, Bologna.
Our research team has succeeded in identifying a vast underground city beneath the Giza Plateau.
Then, the press conference finally happened on March 16th. We have a 4-hour live stream of that press conference that still needs to be released. That is before somebody leaked a part of the press conference. And this is where things get interesting. These researchers are claiming that they have found structures underneath all 3 of the pyramids in Giza. This is what these scientists are claiming to have discovered, if the leak is true, if the abstract is true. And that also doesn't mean that what they think they've discovered is true per se, but it is worth investigating. There are vertically aligned cylindrical structures that extend for hundreds of meters beneath the Giza Plateau. Here you can also see the famous image that is spreading around the internet. So this image is not fake, unless the leak is fake. But if this leak is real, then this truly is the abstract that has been provided to us from the unpublished paper, which still has to come out. But that isn't all. These researchers claim that they found more structures beneath those that spread 2 kilometers beneath the Earth's surface. So, fact or fiction? Fact. These scientists did publish an academic article in 2022 using their technology to scan pyramids. False. These discoveries did not come from that academic paper. Fact number 2. These scientists did in fact announce a brand new massive discovery that's going to change the way we see our history and the way the world works. They said they were going to announce this at a press conference that happened on March 16th.
As of right now, when I'm making this video, it is April 1st, so that has already happened, and we are probably gonna see that in some of these videos because these are more updated videos. That one probably came out a little bit before, but I don't know. We're gonna keep watching.
False. We don't know what that discovery is yet. All we have is a leak that potentially shows us the abstract of an article that's not even published yet. I'll keep you updated the moment the press release is out.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if that makes it false just because of the fact that it's not confirmed. I think it's true. It's just not confirmed yet. I'm not gonna lie because of all the evidence I stacked up against it. But hey, we're gonna see the next video.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Talking of pyramids, dude, this new pyramid shit that's just come out?
Oh, this is insane. Yeah, I was going to send this to you as well, Jamie. I'll send you one of the most comprehensive breakdowns of it on X.
Yo, this is what makes Joe Rogan one of the top 5 comedians of all time, even though he sucks at stand-up comedy. Because, bro, this nigga just said one of the most comprehensive breakdowns I've seen on X with a straight face. Like, Twitter is just the best media source you could get your news from, bro. This is 2025. Let's keep watching.
Because it's quite stunning. So apparently, through the use of LiDAR, they have discovered that there are enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that go kilometers deep into the earth with coils. So enormous pillars, and then these coils. They don't understand what it is because they're just looking at LiDAR images. But whatever this is a uniform structure. There's several pillars, and all of this is like very, very, very weird.
Yeah, it's 600 meters descending down those cylinders, and then there's more stuff below it, and then there's additional structures inside of it. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's really crazy. There's a guy, Jay Anderson, and he did a breakdown of it. Maybe this would be good. We could play this. It makes a little more sense when someone's explaining it to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, we need somebody that's an expert here, not me and you.
Zawi Hawass, by the way, has said it's nonsense.
Already?
Yes. According to Graham Hancock. This is the wonderful thing about having Graham
I texted Graham yesterday. I was like, yo, what's going on with this?
Yo, this is just wild how Joe Rogan absolutely changed Graham Hancock's, or my fault if I just butchered his name, but bro's life got like turned around to a whole 360 spin. Like, he used to be looked at like as a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, like crazy dude, cause he got labeled as one by like the fellow people who worked in his field or whatever, and then Joe Rogan just gave him a good light on his podcast, and boom, everybody loves him. Now they're talking about this dude like they're the best of friends and stuff. It's just wild. But hey, according to Joe Rogan, it's all BS. Cause the dude Graham Hancock told him that is BS because he got told by Zahi Hawass, who's apparently the owner or some legally of the pyramids. Even though this dude shouldn't, like, why do people own like world wonders? It's just insane. I don't get that. But hey, this Zahi Hawass dude is known for lying a lot. Like he faked a lot of stories just to make the ancient Egyptians seem like they're more greater than they are. Like the Sphinx or whatever, it was like found out to have been built way before than they thought it was, because they seen erosion marks on it from the rain. Like, I don't know, the dude Zahi Hawass, he's known to lie, so he could be lying about the fact that he's saying is BS. You never know, but let's keep watching.
Yeah, so click on that and go full screen, please.
How significant of a discovery this is.
Dun dun dun. I love the music. And geometry, so you know it's real.
You got to appreciate the dramatic intro.
Project Unity.
What has just been announced in relation to the pyramids at the Giza Plateau and the plateau itself is so incredible, so awe-inspiring and narrative-shattering that I have been sitting here for the last hour trying to wrap my head around the implications of what we were just told. So this is pretty much breaking news because the new findings were announced on the 16th of March at a press conference held by the team who was studying the Great Pyramid of Giza with a non-invasive technology that was first developed by Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga, called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography.
Fuck, that's a
this
mouthful.
was used to explore the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and this method leverages the analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high-resolution full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface components. The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock, in fact over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground. 2 kilometers. Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep, deep down. This is what we know so far.
What does your friend think about it?
Which friend?
The one that you said it's bullshit.
Oh, that's not my friend. That's Zawi Hawass.
Okay.
Zawi Hawass is the head of antiquities in Egypt. He's like the head guy that talks to the archaeologists and gives the official narrative. In the past, he's been extremely hostile to Graham Hancock, but Graham Hancock and him have now become friends.
Oh, yes. I
And
do
they're
know this guy.
coordinating. Graham is a lovely guy. People that like are enemies with him just need to get to know him and hang out with him. He's a genuine, real human being who's trying to find the truth.
Wait, what in the world? Yo, these dudes just reacted to a short clip of it. I thought they were gonna actually drop some wisdom or something. I ain't gonna lie, I just got bamboozled, but okay, I guess we're gonna watch some more videos, whatever. We're gonna start by reacting to the one they were just reacting to, because I actually honestly thought they were just gonna like tell us something that they knew about it, because these are rich people. Like, I thought they had the connections. He knew Graham Hancock, you know what I'm saying? He said it himself. I thought he would have said something that he knew, but I guess he can't talk about it maybe, or he just doesn't really know much about it. But we're gonna watch some more stuff.
I am struggling to express in words just how significant of a discovery this is. What has just been announced in relation to the pyramids at the Giza Plateau and the plateau itself is so incredible, so awe-inspiring and narrative shattering that I have been sitting here for the last hour trying to wrap my head around the implications of what we were just told. So this is pretty much breaking news because the new findings were announced on the 16th of March at a press conference held by the team who was studying the Great Pyramid of Giza with a non-invasive technology that was first developed by Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography. So this was used to explore the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And this method leverages the analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high-resolution, full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface components. The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock, in fact over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground. 2 kilometers. Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep down. This is what we know so far. Utilizing high-resolution radar images from Capella Space and Umbra, which are 2 private companies that specialize in satellite-based synthetic aperture radar imaging. This has allowed researchers to create a 3D model of the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, this model has revealed a previously unknown chamber with 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof, which in of itself is an architectural design unlike any previously documented in the Giza Pyramid. But the most shocking discovery lies beneath the surface. Below ground level, radar tomography has identified vertical cylindrical structures extending for hundreds of meters beneath the pyramid. There are 8 of these cylindrical wells arranged in 2 parallel rows, descending to an astonishing depth of 648 meters. Even more intriguing, at the base of these structures are 2 massive cubic formations measuring approximately 80 meters in diameter. The tomographic data suggests that these are vertical wells with intricate spiral pathways. Now, this design not only implies a functional purpose, but also a level of sophisticated engineering that completely blows the dynastic Egyptian model out of the water. I mean, the pyramid itself was already a massive red flag in the ancient Egyptian historical narrative. But now, with this discovery, I think it's become impossible to say that the Egyptian civilizations that we understand, that we've been taught about, were responsible for building these structures.
Okay, but when he says that, what does he mean by that, though? Like, he's trying to take away the credit from the ancient Egyptians. I don't think that something else built these things, because, like, what are we really talking about here? About, like, you feel me? I just think the ancient Egyptians were way more advanced than we think they were, or they had a different type of technology. I don't know what it was myself, but I don't want to take away the credit from the ancient Egyptians. Like, what are we trying to say here? Like, who built this then? Aliens or something? Like, I don't know. My personal conspiracy theory is that the white people are gonna start saying the Neanderthals built this. Now I'm playing. That's actually crazy, but let's keep watching the video.
And it doesn't even end there. The radar analysis extends beneath the entire Giza plateau, revealing interconnected structures beneath not only the Great Pyramid of Giza, but also those of Khufu and Menkaure. The subsurface network reaches down to a staggering depth of approximately 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers. This is not possible, given the standard historical and archaeological narrative given to us about ancient Egypt. Now, I'm hearing that there is more to come. There is a 4-hour presentation that's going to be released by the research team. This is what I'm hearing. That's going to go into every detail of their findings. This has essentially been a strategic release of incredible data ahead of time to get people interested. And I am more interested in this than basically anything else right now, because this is by far the most provocative piece of evidence for not only a potential technological explanation for the purpose of the Giza complex, but it also provides the most extraordinary evidence for a pre-flood era civilization that was flourishing in a way that we can scarcely comprehend. It's also possible that this spiraling cylindrical series of structures are staircases, and I can't help but think of the channeled writings of Thoth the Atlantean, you know, the Emerald Tablets, speaking of a lost hall of records, a sacred hall of knowledge below the Giza Plateau, the halls of Amenti. Could this be the lost hall of records from the pre-flood era?
Nah, that got me thinking, because I don't know, at the beginning of the video, I was talking about that stuff, that knowledge they might have under the pyramids. I was talking about this, the Emerald Tablet or whatever, because I seen like TikToks or videos, and I know that sounds kind of dumb, but hey, Joe Rogan was talking about getting his knowledge from Twitter, so don't judge me. We all get our sources from the internet in different ways, you feel me? But hey, I got that from the same thing he's talking about, the stuff from under the pyramid. I think it's that knowledge stuff, the Emerald Tablet. I think that's what's under there too. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't know, that's what I've been hearing from what I've been gathering, you feel me? But hey, let's keep watching and see what this dude has to say.
era. Now, obviously, this discovery is extremely controversial. It runs as a complete contradiction of the established narratives and status quo in mainstream academia on these issues. This will cause big waves throughout the academic and the wider world if they can fully evidence these findings. But the results so far seem pretty clear. There is obviously significant structural engineering taking place deep below the pyramids and the Giza Plateau in general. Has this changed your mind on the pyramids? Has this strengthened your position on what they might have been? Has this new discovery given you any new ideas about what the implications are? Let me know in the comment section below, and honestly, everyone, share this far and wide. This is such interesting stuff. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll just have to see where this goes, because rest assured, I'll be keeping a very close eye on any coming announcements and updates on this issue. This plays directly into one of my main interests, which is, of course, prehistorical civilizational implications. What was going on before the global cataclysm? Well, I think moments like this could shed light on that question. What a time to be alive.
Nah, for real though, this is truly like a remarkable time to be alive. We get to see multiple solar and lunar eclipses, bro. Like, not every generation gets to see this stuff. And not just that, like the planetary alignments, the supernovas we get to see in our lifetimes. Like not every generation gets to see a supernova, and we get to see multiple. Like, it's just crazy. We get to see a lot of stuff that not every other generation has gotten to see. And it's just insane. Like, we're like definitely the most spoiled generation, and we just be missing these like celestial events, not giving a fuck because we be on our phones. But hey, let's keep watching this stuff, because I got some more videos about this stuff. I'm telling y'all, I got the most updated video. Nobody got all these collected videos. Like, I got the best collection of videos you can get out there, bruh. You ain't finding no collection like this. I got all the up-to-date stuff that came out in April 1st. I'm telling you, this is it right here.
Last week, we saw some crazy news about a big underground structure that's supposedly underneath the Egyptian pyramids. What's new, and what are we to make of this? The recent news is about the 3 Great Pyramids in Giza in Egypt. On March 15th, a group of 3 researchers held a press conference in Italy in which they revealed a stunning discovery. They say that they've used a new method of tomography. More about that in a minute. From this, they constructed 3D models which reveal new internal artificial structures. And not only this, they also found something underground. Their images, they claim, clearly reveal that structures exist beneath the plateau, extending below the pyramids for approximately 2 kilometers beneath ground level. These structures form a vast area of non-natural constructions following complex geometries. Concretely, they say that the structures are 8 cylinders surrounded by something resembling spiral staircases. These structures, quote, descend to a depth of 648 meters, merging into 2 large cubic structures measuring approximately 80 meters per side, end quote. Big if true, so I've had a look. Unfortunately, there's no technical paper yet, but going by the press release and the earlier papers of the authors, I have a pretty good idea what this is about. 2 of these researchers already published a paper in 2022 in which they introduced a new method to analyze structures in the pyramids. They call it synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography, which is quite a mouthful, but don't despair, it's not as difficult as it seems. First of all, synthetic aperture radar is a widely used technique to track ground movements. Typically, it's done by satellite, though it could also be done by drone or aircraft. You ping a radar across some terrain and track what comes back. You do this again at some other time, calculate an interference pattern between the 2 results, and that tells you how much the ground has moved. The radar typically uses wavelengths in the range of 10 gigahertz or so that's millimeter waves. These are quite easily blocked by big layers of rock, which is why you have no cell phone signal in the subway. So how do they want to see inside the pyramids and even under them? Here is where things become interesting. They say that they can use the radar images to track vibrations of the surfaces of the pyramids and of the ground, and that these surface vibrations encode what structures there are inside. Tomography means that you can look inside. The reason they call it Doppler tomography is that the vibrations cause a Doppler shift in the frequencies, so that's how they extract them. Technically, this is correct. You can, in principle, reconstruct the inside of an object from its surface vibrations. Indeed, this is used a lot by geophysicists to map out, for example, magma chambers underneath volcanoes.
So humans basically found a way to like sense stuff with computers, the way that whales communicate through the water with the like frequency and waves. The whales basically shout out a sound, and then their babies shout back a sound, and then they communicate through the water like that. And they're like able to sense where the other one is, basically, with the sound. Like, they're able to sense that and know where the baby is. So like, they're just talking through the water basically, but it's deeper than that. They can sense it because it's waves. It's like in the water. They could feel it in their body. It's not humans walking in air. It's a fucking whale swimming in water. You feel me? It's different. So they're basically using this technology to scan with the frequencies, the ground, and like under it. And I think I understand how it works now, but let's keep watching the video.
So you see, both the radar method and the tomography are quite standard methods. It's the combination that's new. In their earlier paper from 2022 that was published in a peer-reviewed journal, they said they'd use that to find structures inside the pyramids. The problem with this paper is that there is no discernible relation between the tomography images and the structures that they supposedly identified. I mean, look at this image. On the right is their measurement. On the left, you see overlaid the chamber we know is there, and as their signal is elsewhere. They seem to have randomly identified some structures in their tomography images and ignored others. Of course, I'm not the first to notice this. The 2022 paper was widely criticized and mostly ignored for this reason. They had no explanation for how they identified structures from their images. So what's new in 2025 is that they say they let AI do the job. So they didn't identify the structures, a computer did it. How do I know this? Well, for one thing, they said this in the press conference, but also one of the authors wrote a paper about this 2 years ago. Now look, I'm not a geophysicist, but I find this idea extremely implausible. Reconstructing what goes on inside an object from its surface vibrations is also how remote psychoanalysis on social media works, or for the most part doesn't work. In both cases, the major problem is that you need to have measurable vibrations in the first place. Volcanologists do this with seismic waves, which they track by sensors on the surface. Seismic waves typically have wavelengths in the range of 50 or 100 meters. The magma chambers that they map with this method are in that range too, maybe 100 meters near the surface or kilometers deeper underground. While there are always some seismic waves that'll also shake the pyramids a tiny little bit, they're in the wrong wavelength range to identify small structures, and they don't measure in that range in any case. They write in their paper that the frequency range they look at for the Doppler shift is something like 12 kilohertz, which in the stones of the pyramid corresponds to a wavelength of about 24 centimeter. There's no plausible source for these vibrations, which makes it unlikely that they have a signal to begin with. Also, let's do a sanity check. If this method actually worked, why isn't anyone else using it? Finally, the idea that the Egyptians would base a structure as heavy as the pyramids on something resembling pillars seems completely crazy to me. Let me also add some words on the two guys who've led these studies. Filippo Biondi previously worked at the Department of Electronic Engineering in Glasgow, but no longer works there. He's applied for a patent for the technology. The other author is Corrado Malanga, who, according to his own website, was a university researcher at the Department of Chemistry and Industrial Chemistry of the University of Pisa. He also has a theory of global alien interference that explains alien abductions as follows. Quote, the abductee in the bottom right part is programmed using an alien active memory, and in the meantime, they momentarily take out his sole component, the little red ball. In summary, this story gets a 9 out of 10 on my bullshit meter. I'm not giving a 10 out of 10 because maybe this Doppler method isn't entirely crazy and just needs more work, but I'm pretty sure what they measure is just noise.
Yo, this girl is top tier hating at the end. What in the world was that? Like, why are you mad at the fact that it's noise that's giving us the information? Like, it doesn't matter that it's noise, it still is what it is. It's a frequency and you can identify what it is with it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it if it works. Like, just literally hate it for no reason. But alright, anyways, I got more videos for y'all because this is interesting and we haven't learned enough. There's more news, so let's get to it.
Recent scans finding mysterious megastructures beneath the Giza pyramids has sparked serious controversy online, with millions of people speculating what is really under the pyramids. Did experts really scan 8 megastructures larger than the Empire State Building? These claims, recently presented by the Khafre Project for major structures under the Giza pyramids detected via SAR, that's synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography, have stirred people into a craze online. The team behind this, Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga, published a peer-reviewed scan of the Great Pyramid internally to find new voids back in 2022, hoping to find new areas not previously discovered. They found a few voids in the pyramid, but they have never been confirmed, or no experts have gone and found those voids and validated their claims. Recently, Ruslan KD and numerous internet enthusiasts have boldly claimed that the new infrared scans revealed something groundbreaking beneath the Great Pyramid. Hidden cities, Tesla coils, aliens, interdimensional beings. Sounds captivating, right? But before you leap through the interdimensional portal into ancient conspiracy land, let's slow down, take a deep breath, and apply a bit of critical thinking. First, those infrared scans you've been hearing about, yes, they're intriguing, but remember, this is preliminary, non-peer-reviewed data. Jumping from interesting anomalies to secret underground cities or advanced power plants, that isn't archaeology, it's imagination. And at MythVision, we love imagination, but we don't confuse it with evidence. Egyptologists, archaeologists, and engineers have long explained the pyramids' construction through real, documented methods. Sleds, ropes, human ingenuity, and organizational brilliance. No aliens, no lost technology required. To insist otherwise is to undermine one of humanity's greatest architectural accomplishments. To put it bluntly, if one suggests or demands the pyramids were built by aliens or other beings, we're stealing from wonderful work humans have accomplished. The evidence that the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids isn't found in sci-fi fantasies, but etched firmly into history itself, in the tools they left behind, the meticulously recorded worker inscriptions, and the sprawling quarries where stone blocks were carefully extracted. Archaeologists have uncovered settlements that housed thousands of skilled craftsmen masons and laborers who proudly documented their daily lives and tasks, marking the stones they shaped with their names and symbols. Papyrus scrolls detail the logistics, labor management, and sophisticated engineering techniques used to transport massive limestone blocks, showcasing a level of human ingenuity and organizational brilliance that dismisses the need for aliens or supernatural explanations. These monuments stand today not as mysteries of extraterrestrial design, but as lasting testaments to the incredible achievements and unwavering dedication of a civilization whose extraordinary capabilities continue to inspire awe and respect thousands of years later. Critical scholars dismiss any claims of ancient electrical technology in Egypt as complete pseudoscience. There's zero archaeological evidence, no wires, no insulators, no generators, no infrastructure to support such a theory. The so-called Dendera light bulb is a common misinterpretation of a symbolic relief depicting the myth of the lotus flower and the snake, not a lighting device. Look, Nikola Tesla belongs in the 19th and 20th centuries, not inside Old Kingdom tombs. The pyramids were funerary monuments, deeply embedded in religious and cosmological beliefs, not misunderstood power plants. Ruslan also mentioned two other options for the pyramid's origin: pre-flood advanced civilizations or aliens. Critical scholars recognize this binary as a false dichotomy. There's a third, overwhelmingly supported option. The ancient Egyptians built the pyramids using the documented tools, materials, and manpower we have written records on papyri, like the Wadi el-Jarf logbooks from the time of Khufu, evidence of labor villages, tool marks, and construction maps. Theories involving lost civilizations or extraterrestrials aren't just unnecessary, they actively undermine indigenous human ingenuity and erase the achievements of a real, documented civilization. Yes, the Great Pyramid is closely aligned with true north, within 1/15th of a degree, but that's not an explainable magic. Ancient Egyptian astronomers used stars, specifically circumpolar stars, to align monuments. This was well within their capability using simple sighting tools, like the Merkek and Bay, proven in modern experimental archaeology. Scholars argue this alignment showcases astronomical sophistication, not alien engineering. Human beings have always looked to the skies. Ruslan mentions Zahi Hawass, the famous Egyptologist, and suggests he's suppressing alternative theories. Scholars reject the idea that Egyptology is a monolithic field suppressing the truth. That means Egyptologists often disagree over issues, and they're free to do so. Egyptologists like Zahi Hawass are not gatekeepers of hidden past. They're defenders of rigorous methodology. Fringe theorists often confuse scholarly peer review and methodological skepticism for suppression. It doesn't feel good when your ideas are not just accepted. But science advances through debate, evidence, and falsifiability, not giving airtime to every baseless claim. If alternative theories are dismissed, it's because they fail basic tests of evidence and coherence, not because of a global cover-up. Ruslan's argument overlooks actual archaeological findings. Ancient Egyptians mostly used dolerite pounding stones to quarry hard stone and copper chisels for softer limestone and sandstone. These tools have been found in abundance at sites like Gaza and Aswan. Modern experiments by archaeologists like Mark Lehner and stonemason Dennis Stocks have successfully replicated these techniques, demonstrating how laborers cut, shaped, and placed massive stones without modern tools. The pyramid sits at the center of all landmasses claim is a myth, rooted in creative cartography and cherry-picked projections. There's no universally accepted method for determining a geodetic center of Earth's land, and various map projections produce different results. It's a numerological coincidence at best, not evidence of divine or extraterrestrial engineering. Critical scholars view this as an example of retrofitting data to support a conclusion you've already drawn. Also, critical scholars who are experts in the Bible and ancient Near Eastern material overwhelmingly reject attempts to treat Genesis 6 and the Book of Enoch as historical records of alien or interdimensional encounters. These texts are clearly mythological in nature, composed in a symbolic and literary framework shared across the ancient Near East. Like their Mesopotamian counterparts, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, Atrahasis, and the Adapa myth, these stories grapple with themes like forbidden knowledge, divine boundaries where mortals and immortals can go, mortality, and the chaotic mingling of gods and humans. The Book of Enoch, for example, borrows directly from Mesopotamian mythic patterns, particularly the Adapa narrative, where a wise sage or man, he ascends to the heavenly realm in search for divine secrets, but also has to be faced by the king of the gods in heaven, Anu, who asks him why he breaks the wing of the south wind and such. Enoch's journey is not a literal space odyssey, it's a literary theological reflection on wisdom, justice, and cosmic order. similar to what we find in the myth of Adapa. Genesis 6, 1-4, with its cryptic references to the Nephilim and the sons of God mating with daughters of men, functions as a mythological prologue to the flood narrative, echoing similar divine-human liaisons found in older stories from Babylonia. Scholars view it as a fragment from an older mythos, likely reflecting a time when Israelite religion was still deeply intertwined with broader Canaanite and Mesopotamian mythic traditions. The Nephilim as ancient aliens, these biblical narratives reflect symbolic explanations of that divine human boundary, not historical events or archaeological evidence for pyramid building, and confusing myths with historical fact clouds our understanding of both history and mythology. When do we start explaining how snakes talk and donkeys speak Hebrew? Come on, we need to call a spade here. Many scholars believe the Nephilim were originally mythological figures, perhaps semi-divine or giant-like heroes borrowed or adapted from older Canaanite or Mesopotamian mythologies. I even flirt with Greek. Their inclusion in Genesis 6, 1-4 is thought to be a fragment of an older myth that was only partially integrated into the biblical narrative. The sons of God, B'nai Ha-Elohim, mating with daughters of men. This echoes stories like the Mesopotamian Apkallu. They were divine beings who came down and mingled with humans. Nephilim may have originally been seen as hybrid beings, similar to Greek demigods. For example, Heracles, or you can name them. Later, they're toned down by biblical redactors to fit monotheistic-ish theology. Obviously, the Bible doesn't have any strict monotheism in the most literal sense, but it does try to go that route. And some scholars believe the Genesis 6 passage serves to explain the presence of giant-like figures in ancient memory of Canaan. For example, the Anakim and Rephaim in Numbers 13:33. It may be a retrojection of myth to explain ancient ruins, large tombs, or legendary warrior clans encountered by the Israelites. If they approach these large structures, we do it today. They go, oh, no normal, ordinary humans could have built these pyramids or these large walls or you name it, so they themselves thought they had to be giants that could have done such a thing. The myth of giants is birthed. This view sees the Nephilim as a narrative device, the critical scholarly view, not a historical or supernatural reality. If anything, the Nephilim in the Genesis narrative reflects evidence of Israelite religion evolving from a polytheistic or henotheistic context. These ancient ruins around Canaan and Mesopotamia, like the ziggurat, you see, like, that's actually in Genesis. The Tower of Babel closely reflects that. It's actually far closer to a ziggurat Mesopotamian structure in the biblical narrative than it is to the pyramids in Giza. So why is Ruslan or other Christians jumping to the Bible to make answers for what's going on here in the Egyptian pyramids? The claim that Yahweh triumphed over the Egyptian gods also is a religious assertion, not a historical event confirmed by archaeology. This idea originates from the biblical literature, particularly the Exodus narrative, which presents a theological polemic meant to elevate Israel's deity over Egypt's pantheon, and critical scholars understand this not as history, but as mythic storytelling, crafted to assert national identity and divine chosenness. Meanwhile, Egyptian civilization thrived for over 3 millennia, with complex religious systems, massive temple constructions, and rich literary tradition, all independent of Israelite theology. There's no archaeological evidence confirming the biblical plagues or Exodus event, nor any indication that Yahweh was recognized in Egypt as historically defeating its gods. I want you to think about this. 3 millennia, Egypt thrived. Israel, if they were lucky, half a millennia, maybe had a temple. Maybe, okay? And then their temple gets destroyed by Babylon, and then they're trying to come back to the land, and then their temple gets destroyed by Rome under Herod. Like, around that period in the 1st century, like, they do not have this thriving civilization historically that has as much evidence to support how grandiose, how powerful they were, right? Egypt did, for 3 millennia. And of course, scholars have noticed that the Bible's Judeans who are writing these texts are looking to the big boys, the big boy on the block, and finding inspiration to craft their own narratives and have a constantly controlled people, a subjugated people, a defeated people, always tell stories, tell tales about how they are the ones whose God conquered Egypt, conquered Babylon, conquered Assyria, conquered this in hopes to conquer Rome, and we saw that that failed over and over. To confuse theological belief with historical fact is to conflate myth with method, and it only muddies our understanding of the ancient world. Look, back to the scans, and while these remote scans of the earth beneath the pyramids are amazing and could contain some lost structures or cavities, we must go into the ground to verify these claims and actually dig to see what these structures really are. Sometimes scans can be off, Actually a lot, especially when you're dealing with solid rock. And sometimes the objects scanned turn out to be natural phenomena. Experts who use SAR, the radar system, have found that it loses accuracy when penetrating through 1 to 3 meters of rock. So think about this. Why would we be so hype about claims of scans that supposedly report 2 kilometers deep structures? Wild! I mean, did you know that the pyramids themselves are carved in bedrock? Bedrock is the solid, hard, underlying layer of rock beneath softer surface soils and sediments like sand, essentially the foundational stone of the Earth's crust. It's stable, durable, and incredibly reliable, making it the ideal foundation for monumental construction, like the pyramids. The Great Pyramids of Giza were purposefully and masterfully built upon this very bedrock, anchoring them securely into Egypt's ancient earth, also making it extremely unlikely that someone dug over 1 mile into solid rock beneath the pyramids. Think about that. The ancient Egyptians meticulously shaped this unyielding stone foundation, leveling and smoothing it with astounding precision, ensuring stability that would defy the erosion of millennia. By choosing bedrock as their base, these visionary builders ensured that Khufu, Khafre, and Menkare's monuments would stand as timeless symbols of human ambition, engineering brilliance, and eternal legacy. The fame, the ego in these emperors, these pharaohs, very important to keep in mind historically. And then also for enduring storms, earthquakes, and countless centuries of history. Let's take a moment to reflect on what some of these conspiracy theories actually ask you and I to believe. The interdimensional or extraterrestrial beings tunneled 2 kilometers beneath the Great Pyramid through solid rock without leaving a single tool, artifact, or trace of their existence. That advanced scanning technology, which experts agree cannot accurately detect structures at that depth, through solid rock especially, somehow revealed mysterious chambers that mainstream science is just covering up. Or that massive underground voids, conveniently shaped like artificial chambers, are actually just misunderstood natural formations. I mean, I literally spoke to Egyptologist Karakuni the other day on my flight back from New Jersey, and she literally told me, Derek, if the scans are picking up something accurately and it's not some haywire thing or something else because it's not peer-reviewed, she goes, they may just be natural rock formations and variations of the rock formations in the Earth. Why is that not more likely than interdimensional, extraterrestrial, alien, demonic, etc.? It's wild to me. Just our brains just turn off. We want to think of dumb things and believe them. That's what it seems like.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, this dude is just crashing out over this situation. I don't know why it's so serious to him, but hey, me personally, I think it was the ancient Egyptians. They just had you feel me, some advanced technology that we don't know about or something. But I don't think it's aliens or no extraterrestrial or other dimensional beings or whatever he's saying right now. You feel me? I don't know why he's so mad. I don't know if a lot of people share this view that he's talking about right now. I know personally me, I don't. I'm personally me, you know what I'm saying? Me, I don't. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep watching this video, you know what I'm saying? See where it goes.
To me. Yes, it's entirely possible that there are still secrets waiting to be discovered beneath the pyramids. In fact, it's likely we haven't discovered everything there is in the pyramids. But let's stay grounded. Real discoveries come through excavation, documentation, and peer-reviewed evidence, not fuzzy scans and sci-fi speculation. Breathless leaps to alien civilizations or lost technologies don't add mystery, ladies and gentlemen. They bury the truth beneath layers of fantasy. We want the truth. Let's breathe. Wait for the evidence and keep our feet firmly planted in reality, not 2 kilometers deep in conspiracy. You see, at MythVision, we dive into these fascinating topics guided by critical thinking, scholarly research, and evidence, not sensationalism. And we love when you join us on this journey. If you appreciate truth over sensational, fictive thinking and believing in absurdities, history over hype, like this video, hit the subscribe button.
I ain't gonna lie, bro's kind of funny talking about some let's keep our feet planted in reality, not 2 kilometers deep in conspiracy, bro. Bro's a little clever little genius with that joke, I ain't gonna lie. But I got some more content for y'all, I ain't gonna lie, cause I've been in a deep rabbit hole today, you feel me, with this one. Hey, we gonna figure it out at the end of this video. Nah, I'm playing. we just gonna get all the information we can about this stuff. Learn as much as we can, because we really don't know yet. I don't know if we do. We gonna figure it out with these videos, though. Let's keep watching.
What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. I have some updates about the Giza discovery. Remember when they discovered these structures underneath, allegedly underneath the pyramid in Giza, right? Well, we've got some updates. Let's dive in. Okay, first we're going to start with Jimmy Corsetti, who is very familiar with this story, and he's been putting up some things that he finds concerning about this. So we're going to dive into this. I've got a lot to share, so stay with me, all right? Now, let me just read some of this, right? Let's just go through here. So he puts out a tweet, says, "To be clear, I am calling on the Egyptian authorities to drill a hole into the Giza Plateau to explore this possible discovery. But we must not ignore that this scan is AI manipulated and not truly authentic." And the scan he's talking about, hang on, is right here. Okay, so he's saying, wait a second, how are they showing this from the side? And you know what? I didn't think about that, but he's right, because it's like what, they had a camera underground scanning it, right? You know what I mean? This isn't top down. This is from the side. So how did they do that? Well, it's been created with AI, right? This one is clearly a, you know, a rendering, whatever, but this looks like it might be a real scan, but it's not, right? So I agree. Let's go back up here. So he says, "Notice it is presented from the side, not from above. The scan was done by a satellite from orbit looking down. This inherently illustrates the fact that AI was used to create the scan we've all seen. This scan is not raw or original," right? However, he says, "Where is the original non-altered scan as seen from above? Does this disprove a subterranean anomaly? No, we must study further. However, many have claimed that the scan was widely exaggerated, and it's extremely important for people to understand that what we are seeing is from the side, not above. Think about it. We all just want the truth. Drill the hole." So he's saying we should drill in and find out if there's something really there. I can't say that I disagree. Now, there's been some pushback about that, and we'll get to that in a second. So if we go down here, there's a response here, right, to the same tweet. "Jimmy, I hear you. I'm skeptical of the way this data was presented and the way the AI has used the data. I am re-presenting the data to my AI, trained on radar images and human body scans, to understand how the AI sees this. One thing that is essential to understand is the arc of the Doppler effect from the SARS data. Absolutely, it is displacement from a surface micromovement. However, it is at many angles of approach. The slide from the conference shows it in a crude form, with a known angle and a known displacement. We can use these many multiple cardinal point measurements to present a side view. The water table in highly saturated soil just below the surface also has the effect of taking away higher degrees of resolution in those areas. Thus, it is possible to get a side view without being at a 90-degree aperture. However, I cannot validate any of the images or even the data, as I did not generate it. Not has there been adequate sharing of the studies. So it is early days. My stance is let the data be open and let's see where it goes. Today I'm neutral, if not somewhat negative, based on how this has all been presented." All right, so they're kind of giving you how this data was taken, right? And that's been really the big issue with this whole discovery, is how the data was taken, and then on top of that, how the data was interpreted and presented, right? So there's many points of what you might call failure along the way, right? All leading to just different interpretations of data. And if something is concrete, I mean, it either is or it isn't. It doesn't need to be interpreted one way or the other. So let's keep going. We've got more to this. Now, Jimmy also put out another tweet that I found interesting. He said, "A major red flag involving the alleged pyramid discovery is the omission of the water table beneath the Giza pyramids. Remember when Mr. Beast swam in it? Don't worry. More on that in a second as well. This massive aquifer can be found 50 feet down and extends hundreds of feet below the surface. Are we going to pretend a massive water table located right in the middle of the studied area wouldn't have a significant impact on the interpreted results of their scan? Why was no mention of it included in the study? It's a very important question that should be considered, especially for an alleged discovery of incredible historical magnitude. I deleted my prior post for incorrectly stating that the SAR technology was used to penetrate the water table, which it can't, when it was actually not used to penetrate the surface." So basically they're saying that there's this water table underneath, right? And if they were done a scan, why didn't that show up in the scan, right? And that's been also an issue that people have brought up. Like, okay, they're showing these scans, but there's obvious things that we know for certain are there that aren't showing up in the scan. So why not, right? But then it's showing things that we don't know for certain are there, right? So it makes you kind of question the scans and, again, the interpretation, right? How the data was collected and how that data was presented. And then right here you can see Mr. Beast in this little water thing, because Mr. Beast did this whole huge video where he, quote unquote, rented out the pyramids and was there for, I don't know, 48, 72 hours all by himself with his crew. And they went in this place that Jimmy is talking about. All right, so let's keep going, because now we've got some footage of it, right? So Red Panda Koala puts out a tweet. Jimmy Corsetti says the aquifer under the pyramid seen in Mr. Beast's recent video is omitted in the recent viral study claiming there are giant structures under the pyramids. Corsetti says this omission is a red flag. Let's
The air's pretty thin down here.
Wait, what is this? Oh, this is a rock right here. Is this a rock or a lid?
Right in the center of the room is the sarcophagus of god Osiris.
Right here is supposedly the gateway to the underworld.
Yeah, so try to get in.
To the underworld?
Well, yeah.
Screw it.
Oh my god.
This sarcophagus is allegedly the portal to the underworld, and virtually no humans have ever been here before.
How deep? Oh my god! Why am I here? Why am I YouTuber? What do we...
Look all the way to that right corner up there. That's a shaft that goes to nobody knows where.
Carl, get up in there. I can go up there?
Jimmy, don't let him.
I'm so scared, bro.
Carl, that's not smart.
Dude, I'm literally in a tunnel in ancient Egypt that nobody's ever been before.
No one is crazy enough. Can you explain to us what's happening?
I'm in a turn in the cave, and it's getting thinner. Dude, I'm literally, actively kind of stuck in this thing.
Carl, you're making history.
I got 1 inch of clearance, bro.
It's been longer than the safe limit for oxygen.
Let me get out.
We literally all got.
All right, so that's the water, aquifer, whatever they're calling it, right, underneath that they're saying, why isn't this particular thing shown up? Right? So I agree. This is interesting, right? The gateway to the underworld, y'all. But look, these are all great questions to ask, right? And if this, again, like Jimmy says, if this is such a massive discovery, then there's no harm and double checking everything, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, going in, let's, studying this further. No one's saying shut down the study. I mean, people are saying that, but I, for one, am not. I am open-minded. Let's look into this. Doesn't mean I'm sold on it yet, but all right, let's look in. What's going on? Maybe there is something there, right? Clearly, again, all the history of the pyramids and everything, it's not all been told to us, right? So let's keep going. Jimmy says, you either support exploration of the Giza pyramid discovery or you don't. The pyramids make up less than 1% of the Giza plateau, right? So you've got this huge plateau called Giza, right? And then there's pyramids on it. And they're saying it's just 1%. So his suggestion is we could quickly and safely drill a hole to find out what's down there once and for all. Why do archaeologists oppose this? I mean, I agree. What is the reason? And then let's look at some photos here, right? Let me bring this up, right? So you can see the different pyramids, right? Just saying, okay, let's get in there. Let's check it out, right? There they are. So you got this whole plateau. We could just drill somewhere near it and see what's up.
And I would say, if nothing else, this requires...
All right, we've got a clip of him on Piers Morgan. We'll get to that in a second, but I want to look at these pictures real quick. So we could quite literally just drill somewhere near it. And I agree. I'd love to hear what is the pushback for trying to drill for this? I mean, what else can be done without actually drilling in to actually see, right? It's like Schrodinger's cat. We're just going to look everywhere around the box, talk about this, that, but never actually open the box to see is the cat alive or not, right? Like it's that sort of thing, right? So what else can be done? At the end of the day, drilling in and just looking is the surefire way to find out if this is real or not. We could do scans till the end of time, use satellite, this, that. Let's just drill in, find out, there's either more to it or there's not. And I guess then you would have to ask, let's say there is more. What does that do? Is that what archaeologists are afraid of, that it would just create this mass panic to Egypt to want to dig further, to investigate more? So what? Right? That there's some truth hiding down there and there's more to this. Why can't we find out? Or do things like this become like humanity owns it? Or is it like the Egyptian government owns it and they decide, right? Like, what rights do we have as citizens of Earth for this? Does that make sense? Like, who's in charge of the pyramids and us doing that kind of discovery, right? And are they gatekeeping the knowledge about the pyramids? I mean, that would be interesting to know. And some say they are.
I'm not gonna lie, I personally think they are too, but I also think the Egyptian government has all the right to hold this or like do whatever they want with it, because why do Americans just feel like we have the right to drill a hole into this Egyptian like world wonder? Like, why in the world do we get the right to decide this just because we discovered this thing? Like, no, let them decide that. Like, is their thing. Just because we discovered it, it doesn't mean it's our thing. Like, it's not the world's thing. It was built by the ancient Egyptians. It's the Egyptians. Like, come on. What are we talking about here? But let's keep watching the video.
Now let's get to this clip of Jimmy Corsetti on Piers Morgan talking about this. Stay with me.
Requires further study and exploration. If it was up to me, we would drill a hole straight down through the Giza Plateau, stick a camera down there with a light and investigate, and that'd be the quickest way to do it. It wouldn't cause any damage. This is doable. It's probably not going to happen.
the first thing to do is 100% not to just drill into the Giza Plateau. That is, the silliest thing in the world. The first thing to do is to demonstrate that this technology works on known subterranean structures. That's really simple
But
to do.
why can't you just drill down? Isn't that the quickest, easiest way to establish the truth?
Okay, so think about this. Think about this. Already they have drilled into the Giza Plateau on various hydrological studies. They've excavated into the Giza Plateau quite deep. Underneath the Great Pyramid, they recently found the Osiris Shaft. So this is actually happening currently at Giza, these kinds of investigations. But what we're talking about here is testing 2 kilometers underground on a sensitive archaeological site to test a method that can be tested elsewhere.
What people will say, Professor Flint, they'll say, well, of course he'd say this. He's an establishment figure. He doesn't want to have the orthodoxy challenged. He can't even contemplate the notion of ancient new civilizations that are more ancient than any we knew before. And he's just turning a blind eye to this bombshell development rather than getting wildly excited and wanting to lead an Elon Musk style experimentation on Explorer, going the different way to Elon's rockets up to space, this time going down into the bowels of the pyramids to find potentially one of the greatest discoveries of modern times. They think you're a bit of a fuddy-duddy, Professor Flint, who just doesn't want to take the chance. Or Jimmy, what they're doing is they're doing exactly what Elon Musk has been saying about Mars. They're saying, look, we've got to get up there and we've got to colonize. It sounds impossible. It sounds incredibly difficult, but we've got to do this for the future of mankind. And we're going to think big and we're going to get up there and we're going to colonize it. And you know what? Maybe we will. But he's got a very open mind about the ability and potential for life on Mars. If we can take that view to getting to a different planet, why would we not at least get excited enough to send, an exploration vessel down below the pyramids? I mean, it sounds like one of those things you could do. I mean, if Netflix did a series on this, it would blow up the internet.
We could do this very easily. There's no reason not to drill a hole into the Giza Plateau. We're not talking about doing it straight through the pyramid. There's plenty. The Giza Plateau is quite large. And
how big is it? For those who are not pyramid experts, how big is this area we're talking about?
Good question.
That is a good question. I've seen it from satellite imagery, and it's very large when you see compared to the surrounding area. I couldn't give you an exact dimension, but a vast majority of it does not have ancient relics. But I will say this. We could safely drill down, and it'd be the quickest, easiest, and cheapest way to find out answers, to find out if there is something under the Giza Plateau.
Well, there you go. Right. There you go. Right. I don't know. What do y'all think? Right. Let me know in the comments. Do you think we should go to the Giza Plateau and drill down and see what's up? You think we should just leave it alone? Right. Are there other steps to take before we get to the drilling? Right? Are the scans that were taken from the site, are those valid? If AI is used, right? Is using AI now a red flag when AI is becoming such a part of life? Researchers using it, designers using it, podcasters, YouTubers, like people are using this. Science is going to start using AI. Anytime AI is used, does that mean it's, can't trust it? I don't know. There's just a lot of things that come up with this, right? Even just the conversation about should drilling be done? Let's just forget Giza and the pyramids. Like, let's imagine another archaeological site, right? You know what I mean? Like, is drilling it, like, there's just all these things about this. This discovery or alleged discovery, honestly, is a bigger story, right? It's about the story of how we look at our history and how we look at alleged potential discoveries right in front of us. How deep do we go? How far into that discovery do we want to go, right? Like, how far down the path, right? Private, public funding, right? Like, who's involved, what's allowed, what's not allowed. There's a lot of questions that get brought up. Ethics, morality, right? Like religious implications, right? Depending on how that's connected. I mean, one last thing that I'll say is I, for one, think we should do the drilling. Now, Flint Dibble, who you saw there, who with the hat on and everything, looked like a, Indiana Jones, like teacher assistant, right? That guy has debated Graham Hancock, right, on Joe Rogan. That's kind of how he became famous, right? And him saying, like, we're going to drill 2 kilometers down. Well, nobody's saying that. If the thing is 2 kilometers down, you would just drill, down a lot shorter and see if the top of the structure was there. And then if you discovered that, yeah, maybe then you'd start, drilling down further. But the idea that we would need to drill down the 2 kilometers is crazy, right? And that's kind of the pushback. Like, oh, what do you say? We just drill down to the center of the earth? No, nobody's saying that, right? We either take these things seriously or we don't. Is there an in-between? Is there a spectrum? I don't know. But I, for one, am open to the idea and support the idea of looking into this, researching it. We can all decide as human beings what we're then going to accept, right? As far as results-wise or data that's revealed from these, discoveries or ventures out to drill or whatever, right? Like, we can decide ourselves if we believe it or not. But the idea that we wouldn't go searching or not allow people to do it, why not? I mean, if you're not doing it, but somebody else wants to do it, why do you care if they do it, right? That seems odd to me, right? I don't think it's going to hurt anything. I mean, if the idea is that, well, we can't, it's sensitive, then we're never going to learn anything, right? I mean, we got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, right? So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. We'll see you guys in the next video. Links in the description, y'all. Go check it out. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. I like half of me agrees on whether we should drill a hole into it, because I don't know. We could probably just, I don't know. You know what? I'm not gonna share my opinion on that because I'm not fully sure on that yet. I'm like halfway sure if we should do it, because I'm not really sure if it would be good to drill a hole to discover this if it's not like confirmed yet. Like, I feel like maybe we should confirm it first and then we could try to drill a hole in it to see if it's really there. Or actually, if it's confirmed, then we should definitely drill a hole in it because we know it's there. I'm wrong about that. But yeah, I just think we should definitely just like confirm it better, because it's not fully even confirmed yet. Like, AI was used to discover this. But let's see, because there's more videos on this. I got more knowledge that I have gathered up to be able to share with y'all. You feel me?
So here's your big update now out of Egypt, and it just made this mysterious Giza discovery from last week way more real. Now, remember that controversial claim last week about a massive hidden underground city beneath the Great Pyramid? Well, the research team behind it just dropped a major bombshell. They say they found a sealed sarcophagus buried deep beneath the pyramid's complex. Yes, a literal stone sarcophagus, untouched and hidden for possibly thousands of years, according to reports from the Daily Mail. Scientists used high-frequency electromagnetic and ground-penetrating radar to scan beneath the pyramid's surface, and what showed up was stunning. It was a massive chamber underneath there, made of stone, tucked inside one of the newly identified chambers. Look at this. So, it's kind of hard to see from these drawings, but they know what they're looking at. Massive chamber down there, that massive stone sarcophagus. Here's some sort of artist renderings here, so you can see a little bit more and understand what this is showing. Now, to be clear, no one has opened this sarcophagus yet, but the team says the object strongly resembles a sarcophagus, and it's positioning inside what they believe is a ceremonial or burial chamber. So archaeologists, of course, are freaking out about it right now. But like, battle lines are being drawn, because it's so stunning to see the machining on some of these blocks, and specifically perhaps the sarcophagus, which is perfectly machined, according to experts, that we even have like laser cutting machines today that can't do as well as some of these stones have been perfectly cut. I don't know how many of you have actually, been to Egypt and you stand there and look at their and you actually look at this, be able to like slide a credit card in between one of these stones. You can't do it. It's unbelievable. And here's where it gets even more fascinating and controversial, because the team still believes this site may be tied to the legendary Hall of Records, the mythical archive that is said to house ancient knowledge, possibly from Atlantis or even earlier civilizations. Of course, that's been the stuff of mystery books, right, and conspiracy theories for decades, and now it's like all coming crashing right into mainstream headlines right now. But not everyone's on board about this, of course. Dr. Zahi Hawass, who's Egypt's former Minister of Antiquities, continues to slam the finding. He's doubling down, calling the research nonsense, and accusing the scientists of misusing radar technology. He insists there is no city underneath. You don't need to go looking. There's no city, massive underground city here, despite what those radar scans show. Nothing to see here. No chambers. No nothing hidden, and certainly not a missing and hidden sarcophagus under the Great Pyramid. So stop looking. Stop using your ground-penetrating radar to show these giant chambers. Now, when I was in Egypt last year, look, I look like Indiana Jones here. I don't know.
I don't think Indiana Jones wore a garden hat.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. I look like Indiana Jones there if I hadn't left the house in 2 years. Like, that's the Indiana Jones I look like in that one. Anyway, so when I was there, the Egyptian tour guides will go to great lengths to tell you that Egypt had no friends at all helping them build the pyramids, that they did it all by themselves. No aliens, no Anunnaki, nothing. The Egyptians did it all by themselves. And that's what you'll hear from Egyptian tour guides. So very proud, of course, of these. Still, they can't produce any signs of having used any kind of cranes or anything like that at all, but okay. Still, the images and scans are compelling, and the scientists are now pushing for excavation, which would be the first real test of whether there's scientific gold here or just more modern-day myth-chasing. I don't know if the government's going to allow them to actually dig under this.
Yeah, nope. I was going to say, because Zahi Hawass, I know that he's no longer in charge, but I mean, he's got a lot of influence, and he's not going to be all about it. I mean, he's very kind of anti-excavation, so I doubt we'll see it, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, it certainly would, but they want to protect that myth that it was just the Egyptian people with their hands and ropes and camels built the pyramids. And that's what they'll tell you. I mean, they'll tell you, in recent years, they found the excavation site where the workers lived. Like, yep, all of the workers spent every night here in their village here in this area. They went and worked on the Sphinx. They went and worked on the pyramids. Came back and slept, and it was a very busy working village. And that's who built it. That's it.
Well, and also
It's a story.
Such like chisels and stuff that are more accurate than what we could do today, like precision. You know what I mean? Like the precision is so, like you said, you couldn't even get a credit card in there. Like we can't replicate it today with like even lasers and anything that we have.
Freaking lasers. We can't do it. It was magic, people saying in the chat. Pre-Egyptian construction. Yeah. Anyway, I'm fascinated by it. We'll see more about this. I'm interested to see if we'll get an excavator.
I don't know if we will, but apparently Zahi Hawass isn't actually like in control of it all, even though he apparently owns it. I don't know. He's not like the head owner of it, maybe. I don't know. But he's still like a chairman. I don't know. I don't know how it works. You feel me? I'm just learning right now with y'all. But I got even more videos. This is the final one. This is one I showed y'all in the beginning. But he said he had a conclusion, so I wanted to save it for the last one, and I realized that halfway through the video while I was watching it and editing it, because I didn't watch it before I saved it to make this video. So yeah, I saved it for the final video after I put the second one on. And also, this guy that we had just reacted to was talking about some Hushi Bushi, talking about the ancient Egyptians got help from the Anunnaki. Bro, why are y'all trying to put aliens into this? I don't know. In my opinion, my personal opinion, I believe they had some ancient technology that we just don't know about yet. Like, bro, why y'all trying to bring aliens into this, bro? I just feel like it's way better to just say they had ancient technology. Why do y'all want aliens to come into this? Aliens could easily take over the whole world. Y'all tripping. but let's watch that first video that we had watched. Let's see what my boy's conclusion was. Let's watch this.
Okay, major breaking news. They have just discovered something insane beneath the pyramids, and it literally just happened this week. I want you guys to look at this, because by using new radar technology from outer space, scientists have found massive hidden structures beneath the pyramids of Giza. And when I say massive, I mean colossal. You won't believe this, but they detected structures extending 600 meters deep into the bedrock. That's nearly 2,000 feet straight down. And if that wasn't crazy enough, these structures connect to even deeper formations that go 2 kilometers underground, 1.24 miles below the surface. But I hear what you're thinking. Joe, could this be some kind of underground energy grid? Well, beneath the pyramid of Khafre, they found 8 massive pillars, which researchers confirm are not natural. These pillars are part of deliberate human construction, suggesting that these formations have an advanced purpose. And the fact that these structures extend so deep into the earth is raising even more questions. Now, what might be even more mind-blowing is that the latest radar scans have uncovered what appears to be an underground city beneath this pyramid. Now, let's just pause here for a minute, because obviously this is just speculation, and like most of my videos, I'm just talking about this stuff for entertainment purposes until I reach the conclusion of my video, because when I get to that part, I'm mega sincere, as you all know. Okay, so what is going on here? What is going on in this pyramid situation? Well, they decided to use a new radar technology, and researchers identified 5 interconnected structures near the pyramid's base. Again, these extended 648 meters deep into the ground, and this discovery reveals vertical shafts and even a possible spiral staircase with 2 large chambers. Are you imagining this right now? Because these structures suggest the presence of a sophisticated subterranean network, possibly even linked to an ancient water system used in the pyramid's construction. So, could these be part of a worldwide energy network? Or perhaps even a remnant of an advanced civilization's technology? Okay, well, let's just take a step back and think about the pyramid's age and its scale. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built 4,500 years ago, so just chew on that for a second. And just think how smart these guys must have been back then to build such an amazing thing. And if it was the Egyptians, like the common school of thought says it was, well, that is a testament of how great they were at engineering it, how smart these Egyptians were. However, a little later on, we are going to look at some other suggestions of who else might have possibly built the pyramids. But did you know it's originally believed to have been 481 feet tall, but now it only stands at 455 feet tall due to the loss of the outer casing stones. However, this is probably the most impressive fact, but the Great Pyramid was constructed using 2.3 million stone blocks, with each block weighing somewhere between 2.5 and 15 tons. Some of the largest blocks found in the king's chambers weigh up to 50 tons. I was so taken aback when I heard this, because the sheer weight and the sheer size of these blocks, coupled with the fact that the ancient Egyptians didn't have the modern tools and cranes and machinery like we have today, it just makes this really hard to believe that it was done just using manual labor and primitive tools. You see, the logistics behind moving such massive stones, it's a mystery, isn't it? A mystery even to this day. Now, listen to me. Here's something else that challenges our understanding of the pyramids. No mummies, listen to me, no mummies whatsoever have been found in the Great Pyramid or any of the major pyramids. Historically, these massive structures have been thought to be royal tombs, but the fact that no mummies have ever been found here suggests that the pyramids might not have even been tombs in the first place. In fact, some researchers now propose that the pyramids could have served another purpose entirely. Maybe they could have been energy generators, they say, or places of spiritual or scientific burial chambers. In this video here, I suggested, like Ron Wyatt and Ben Carson, that they could have been used for storing grain, and maybe even Joseph from the Bible, under the inspiration of God's wisdom, helped design the pyramids. But between you and me, I'm actually not so sure about this theory anymore, because it's very likely that the pyramids were built long before Joseph was even on Earth. So here's where things get really interesting. There's a theory that the pyramids were actually energy generators. You've heard of Nikola Tesla before? Well, he believed in the possibility of wireless power transmissions across the Earth. Could these underground pillars and the recently discovered structures be part of an ancient electromagnetic grid? Some even suggest they could be power plants. And these are actually coils that the researchers have found, which were once designed to generate and distribute wireless electricity across the Earth. So it is possible that the pyramids were part of an ancient worldwide energy system. I'm going to let you into a secret right now, but you've got to promise me you'll do something. If you do go ahead and Google the facts I'm going to share with you, you must come back to this video to hear my conclusion. Okay, now if you Google, I'll leave a link in the description, if you Google the Pyramids of Giza's coordinates, you'll get this number. Now why is that a big deal? Because if you also Google the speed of light, you will get this number. Is that just a coincidence? Or was the positioning of the pyramid tied to some cosmic scientific principles that we are only just starting to understand? Right, let's put another theory under the test. As you know, the Bible teaches that there wasn't just one Goliath who walked on the earth, but there were many. Could these newly discovered underground structures be proof that an advanced pre-Egyptian civilization was responsible for building the pyramids? Many believe these ancient builders were not just ordinary humans, but rather a clan of big guys, or a lost civilization that had access to technology that is far beyond what we could ever comprehend. Now, please, everyone look at me, because this next theory, I need you to know I am literally just sharing this with you for entertainment purposes. But some even suggest that the pyramid's alignment with Orion's belt, which is perfectly aligned, points to some kind of extraterrestrial involvement. They say perhaps the pyramids were constructed with space knowledge or assistance, and these hidden structures are somehow linked to their technology up above. Again, I really don't think that's the case. But one thing you're probably not going to do when you're trying to figure out what is the explanation for all of these underground structures is you are unlikely to turn to the Bible. But the Bible mentions the concept of an inner earth. I'm sorry for the pun, but may I go deeper? Let's look at the concept of an underworld as seen in the Bible. You see, the scripture speaks of an ancient, mysterious realm beneath the earth known as Sheol, or the abyss. An underworld that is often hidden from our view, but it still plays a significant role in the biblical narratives. In Numbers 16, we find the story of the sons of Korah. These men rebelled against God's authority, and as a result, the earth opened up and took them in whole, taking them down into the depths of the earth. Have you heard of that passage before where the ground split open? Have you heard of the Bible describing a place called the abyss? A place beneath the earth reserved for the rebellious. A place where the fallen angels have been confined for rebelling against God in heaven. Another intriguing event occurs in 1 Samuel 28, when King Saul seeks advice from the prophet Samuel, who, by the way, had already passed away. In a desperate attempt to gain some kind of guidance, Saul visits a medium at Endor to summon Samuel from the underworld. The scripture describes how Samuel's spirit was brought up from the earth. This powerful moment shows us that there could well be an idea that there is a world beneath our feet. Additionally, during the times of Noah, water didn't just come down from the sky like many of the pictures show us, but the Bible explains that fountains of the great deep were broken open, sending water up from beneath the earth. This remarkable event points to a deep and hidden world below, one that has its own significance in God's plan. But if you remember one thing, remember this: it all points to this one profound truth. Jesus Christ has authority over all realms, including those realms beneath the earth. The Bible says in Philippians 2 verses 10 to 11, "At the name of Jesus, every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things on earth and things under the earth." This proves to us that the Lord Jesus Christ, he doesn't just have power and authority over the heavens. He doesn't just have power and authority over the earth, but he has power and authority over that beneath the earth. There are different realms, and I need to ask you, we may not understand these things, but there's one thing we should understand. I'm a sinner, you're a sinner. We've all done wrong against this mighty, great big God who is powerful, this mighty God who went down into the realms of the dead and rose from the grave. Have you put your trust in him? Have you come to the cross and asked Jesus Christ to wash away your sins? And have you read the Bible? You're very happy to look at all these different theories on the internet, but will you read that old book? Will you brush the dust off that old book and find the answers there, where it talks about many of these things, and it's all there in that book that you look past, you ignore so very often? Come to Christ right now. This video is no accident. He loves you, he wants to save you, and he wants to wash away all of your sins. But the question is, will you come? Oh, by the way, if this is the first time you've ever watched this channel, we kind of make videos like this quite often, so you might just want to subscribe. And know this is a very, very brief overview over what's happened. If you want to see my most popular video, it's actually, I don't often quote the numbers, but it's actually got over 6 million views. If you want to see my video about the Pyramids of Giza, what all the fuss is about, you better click here.
I didn't know that man was Christian before I made this video because I didn't really watch any of these all the way through, you feel me? I just seen some parts And yeah, I saved them, edited it, and here we are. I ain't gonna lie, he had good positive vibes, you feel me though? It was all, you feel me, just good energy at the end of the day. I don't mind it. I hope you don't either, you feel me? It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Just wholesome vibes. But that's the end of this video. That's knowledge I've acquired, and that's all I got for y'all for this video, you feel me? Comment down below what type of content y'all want to see from me next. Yeah, hope you learned something about this new pyramid stuff. Love y'all. Keep your head up. To get your bread up, yes sir. Smash that like button. Subscribe to join the Get Money and Love Life family, yes sir. Yeah, love y'all. Keep your head up. See you in the next one. I'm out.
Pretty chilly, I've been trying to find me really well. Silly, yo, I be gone like Cheerio. Really though, swear we finna get the gold. You the goat, but the most been getting old. Standing still, yeah, I'm getting way too cold.
Thank you.